Woo! Praise Paul, pat Paul, protect Paul. Paul is precious. Paul must be protected. It's true. I must be protected at all costs. The polished one. Oh, I get it. Polished Paul. Preen Paul? Some sons of bitches are like, boil Paul, fillet Paul, spit roast Paul. It's like, this isn't my flea circus. Yeah, they want bronze bowl me. They will put me in the bronze bowl. They want to put me on the rack. They want to guillotine me. They want to pull out my fingernails. And a million other things that are very, very rude to do to another human being is what they always say to me. They want to boil me. They want to fillet my skin off of me. They want to stab me. They want to drown me. They want to roast me. A lot of that. Like, but not like roast like make fun of me. Roast like put me in an oven. Jesus. So there's lots of very mean people out there that want to do horrible, horrible things to Paul, and I don't know why. But then there are an equally sized army of nice people out there who want to do wonderful things to me. They want to pat me and praise me and protect me.
Pamper.
Huh? Pamper me. Yes. Yes, gently pamper Paul. Yes. Just like that. Just like run your hands on me, but just like this, just to pamper me. Just like that. They want to spit roast you in a loving way. That must be a tribe that I'm not familiar with that spit roasts their friends. Because
I think they mean like spit roast is like two guys, one going into the butt, one going into the mouth.
The wobbly H?
Yeah.
Is what they were talking about?
I think that would be a loving spit roast. It's the wobbly H.
No! No!
Not a fan.
I'd rather not be the wobbly H. I don't want to be the crossbar on the H. And I'd rather not be either of the two towers either. I'm just not into it. No, did not get the swishers yet. Phoebes is going to train me how to roll a blunt. But I have to get swishers first. And I have just not done that.
You know, I think we forgot those because he didn't have a table to actually put them on.
What?
I think we forgot those because he didn't have a table.
Oh, yeah. That's our next step.
Yeah.
Dude, we've kicked ass the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Dude, we are thrift store royalty. Because we are just finding the right stuff at the Goodwill. Got you a desk
For $8.
For $8. I want you to think about that. And this is not, it's not like a perfectly brand spanking new desk, but
It's
it
got
ain't.
some scuffs on it.
It's got some scuffs, but like,
yeah.
it's not raggedy. It's not falling
Wobbly.
apart or wobbly. It's a really good desk. $8.
You could just repaint that and it'd be fun.
You don't even have to. If you care about having like a scuff on the top of it, then yeah, you could, but.
A whole couch for $50.
Yeah. Our couch, $50. That desk, literally $8. It's pretty wild. Yeah, the same desk that we got Amelia would cost $100 on Amazon easily to order it. You know what I mean? And then we'd have to build the fucking thing. Like, I think Goodwill is a cheat code for people like me that move a lot, because it'd be a lot easier to let go of a $50 couch or a $7 desk.
You know, it doesn't matter that it's halfway through its lifespan. It's $50. You just get another $50 couch when it's starting to get too raggedy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have paid $50 for the couch if it was raggedy. It's not.
I'm just saying if it does in a
Yeah.
couple years.
Yeah, if it falls apart or some shit, but I
Yeah.
don't see how it's gonna.
Mhm.
And then it's like Cricket. You know, Cricket's not big at tearing up things, but he likes to sharpen his claws a little bit here and there. And it's like, we don't have to worry about him doing that on that couch because we don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, $50 is less than nothing for a couch. If you're looking at getting like even a small love seat or sectional that's new, you're looking at paying $700-800 minimum. That's for, you know, not that comfortable, you know, small, pretty much not flashy, just simple functional furniture at a furniture store. You're gonna easily pay $700-800.
And the problem with like just ordering it online is maybe you do find a better deal, but you don't know what it is. It might fall apart the second you sit on it.
Mm-hmm. Or you just might not find it comfortable. It might be too short or too tall, or something might be, you know what I mean? It's like, we were able to sit in that couch and see that it wasn't like busted or broken or weird.
Or worn to shreds.
Yeah, we looked at it. We pulled the, you know, cushions off of it, made sure it wasn't all ripped up inside or anything, and brought it home.
I mean, I think it definitely depends on the demographics of the area. I'm sure some Goodwills have worse shit than others.
Well, and the thing about Goodwill is you can't just go once and go like, they ain't got shit. You know what I mean? Because there's constantly shit rotating through the Goodwills. So I don't think I'll ever not at least try Goodwill the next time I need something like a coffee table or a desk or something. You know, there's no need to, at the very least, not try. Because, I don't know. You know, it's just, like, there's being frugal and then there's just, like, being sensible. You know what I mean? Like, why would you pay $100 for the same thing when you can go to Goodwill and get it for $8?
Yeah, I mean, the only downside with it is, you know, we're limited to one at a time because our car is only so big.
Well, I mean, we're not. I mean, we could come back.
Yeah.
It's like we could load something up in the car, take it home. You know, they put the tag on it, sold. We come back in 20, 30 minutes and get the other one.
Yeah.
So our car is just right for doing that kind of thing for us. If we were trying to get any bigger stuff, we'd have to figure something out. But
table, desk,
desk, coffee
chairs.
table, probably like dining room set. It's all going in that fucking car. That's the next thing we need is a dining thing.
It's not like they never help you. Like, they helped us load it into the car,
Mhm.
which was good.
It's just they're, they can't make things fit that don't, and they can't,
They can't bring it to your house.
I think it would be a smart thing for Goodwill to, you know what I mean? Like make a surcharge.
Yeah,
and
contract it out.
Or either contract it or like hire a couple of people there to be delivery drivers. You know what I mean?
I think it's probably the liability of it that they don't want, because there's a whole thing you gotta have to be a delivery driver.
Sure.
But if you made it as like a contractor thing, then it's on the person that's doing it.
Yeah.
Or you can make it like kind of a what do you call it? Like, you know how like Uber, they're not quite a taxi. What?
Oh.
Gig.
A ride share.
Yeah, gig thing.
Yeah.
So like, it could be a gig thing.
Yeah. Mover. For people that just need somebody with a truck for the day.
Yeah.
Need to run an errand and pick up a bunch of stuff that would go in the back of a truck. What? I'll be in Kentucky later if you want to go out for some dinner. I won't be in Kentucky later, though.
Who's like Kentucky to you, bro?
I don't know. Maybe it does. I ain't never been to Kentucky, so I couldn't tell you. You need famous people? I'm the most famous person on the planet. I have the most famous name on the planet. And the most famous father ever. It's just, you recognize me not. But if you've seen me, you've seen my father. I'm about as famous as they come, my son. I know the hoodie throws people off, but modern trappings for a modern mission, you know? Let me see. Let me strike a pose that might be more familiar. He who can't and shan't be named. Coucou les Français, comment ça va? Ça va bien et toi? Je parle souvent avec mes amis francophones. I'm new to your channel. You're very interesting. I don't know much about you. Who is your father? I guess I'm a dumbass. I don't know. Well, my father is your father. The beard and the long hair don't give it away. I'm gonna have to get like a dusty old robe and some sandals or some shit. Because nobody knows who I am. It's like, hi guys, I'm back. And they're like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, what does the H in my name stand for? Harold. Jesus, Harold Christ. It's the glasses. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, they didn't have glasses back when I was around the first time.
You're not blind as a post. You just
No.
need a little help sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's why I needed all the disciples.
Yeah.
They helped, make sure I
Read
didn't
and write.
Yeah, reading and writing to me and like helping I don't trip and stub my toe on stuff. Now I don't need the disciples because I got glasses. I mean, it's like it's a brave new world, The bravest of new worlds. Opinions on the tariffs. I mean, isn't the most fun part of a roller coaster the drop off? Throw your hands in the air, baby. Whee! We're going down.
We were extolling the virtues of goodwill.
Yeah, we were just talking about how you get a fucking $100 desk for $5. Maybe listen to that. I don't know, man.
Start doing the garage sale hunt and shit for your shit.
Yeah.
Because that $100 desk is about to be $125 or something from China.
Oh, easy. Probably way more. Be honest, was Judas actually chill IRL? I mean, chill. I hesitate to say chill. He was a little high strung, but like he was my homie. He was my homie, and I forgive him. You know what I mean? I always wanted to ask, you have a foot fetish, or was that a rumor? Hell no. Mm-mm. 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 I mean, watch. Oh, you want proof? DM me your toes. DM me your soles. I'll just be like, whatever. Those are some feet, I guess. Hello. The only thing that scares me in Kentucky is the water moccasins and them rattlesnakes. Eh? Say what, sir? I don't like fish. No, I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. That's why I give away all the fish. What you said the other night about the pyramids is really interesting. What government people are trying to reverse engineer that technology? I'd like to believe that there is much buried. I mean, the question would be is if they do a little excavation under them pyramids and find out that there is a way to generate power, right, using whatever's under there, would they even want people to know about it? Because you're talking about free power, basically, right? You're talking about wirelessly transferred power. So it's like, I don't even know that they would want people to know what that is and to know that that's an option when they're charging you out the ass for your power. That's what Tesla wanted, and they took it from him, right? Yes, Tesla was working on a patent for the wireless transmission of electrical energy. And I say they, but it was basically the business people that surrounded him, destroyed him. They picked him apart. Thomas Edison being one of those. Smoking a dirty? Is that what you guys are calling it now? There's nothing dirty about it. It's clean. Straight from the earth. Straight up out the earth. No additives, no preservatives. Dumbledore went downhill? What do you mean went downhill? He's dead in the movies, but I'm alive. But not like necessarily uphill. Jesus Christ. The earth, yeah. What are they spraying on Cali bud? The same shit they're spraying on Cali fucking cucumbers, bro. Everybody's all fucking wigged the fuck out about every goddamn thing. Just shut up, suck up your microplastics and your cancer-causing chemicals, okay? And enjoy it. You know what? You know what's on my mind at least once a week? I'm gonna say a word, and only the nerds will know what I'm talking about. At least once a week, I think about Grand. Okay? You know what Grand is? This is not a ligma, don't worry. I'm not trying to get you with a ligma. If you know, you know. Grand is on my mind like once a week. Once a week, I will just start thinking about Grand. Yeah. The giant battering ram that the orcs use to take down the gates of Minas Tirith. That giant battering ram. Dude, once a week, I will just start thinking about Grand. Yeah, that was the name of it, Grand. The giant, crazy, flaming battering ram that the orcs be using to knock down Minas Tirith's front gate. I think about it. I fantasize about it a little bit. Like, I want my own Grand. Are you trans? Yes. Transhumanist. I love those movies, but I can't stand Tolkien's writing style. Well, you know, it's not for everybody. I'm the general orc, yeah, the one that's all like... That's my favorite part. When he almost gets hit by the thing and he just steps out of the way and he's like... Like, yeah, Gothmog, yeah. Gothmog, yeah. What is this, a virgin convention? Chill down, Pops. Chill out, Pops. It's not the 70s, all right? You don't have to pop your butterfly collar anymore. That gave heavy fucking 70s high school football jock energy, bro. Look at all these virgins. It's like, what? Oh, shit, bro. The fuck is going on in the world, man? I wonder if these dudes that are like obsessed with, like the trolls that'll come in here and be like, "Are you trans? Are you that groomer guy?" Right? I feel like they don't realize that they're giving really, really suspect energy. Like they're scaring the hose, is what I'm saying. Like I don't even know that if they realize it. Like they're scaring the hose. Like, am I wrong? Yeah, nobody's trying to hear that shit 24/7, 365, except a small group of real weird fucking people. And they're scaring the hose. Bunch of virgins around here. Scaring them hose. Yeah, methinks the lady doth protest too much. Well, yeah, these kinds of like blind accusations or admissions of something. You know what I mean? Almost always. Like, it's one thing to accuse somebody who you know to be this, that, or the other thing, right? Personally. It's another thing to just like be scrolling around accusing people left and right. There's something weird going on there. It's an Angie dog. Woo! There we go. Both the trees in the back and the trees in the hand. Well, you can get one of those two things, you know what I mean? And trust me, dude, I'm very grateful for where where I'm staying now, like where I live now. If you go back on this channel just a year, you'll see me sitting in the dead ass middle of fucking suburbia. But, you know, if you're willing to make, I tell this to people all the time, and I'm not trying to be a life coach, so just indulge me for a second. If you're unhappy where you are, you're capable of changing it. It's possible for you to do something crazy, given what you've done in the past, right? And just kind of pick up stakes and do something different. It is incredibly hard to do, and it requires a whole lot of fortitude and a whole lot of, direct physical action on your part, let alone the mental fortitude angle. But I've done it in my life too many times, and I'm not a special dude. I'm not made of some sterner stuff than your average person. And I have managed in my life a couple of 2 or 3 times to kind of reinvent where I am and what I'm doing. you know, and it was hard as fuck every time. But, you know, the end of all of those little choices is where I am now. Got another 2 years in Texas and I'm fucking gone. Gotta be a rentoid again, but renting in Colorado will be better than owning in Texas. Well, I hope that ends up being true for you. But either way, it doesn't even really fucking matter if that's economically true. Because when it comes to how you feel about the place that you live and where you make your roots, what's true is what's true for you. Nobody else can say a fucking word about it, right? Nobody has any input on that but you. And you drive around still? Yeah. Yeah. I've got a car. Dude, I was driving all over fucking heaven and back yesterday. That's why I did 3 streams, because I had these like 3 different fucking errands and appointments I had to make. And they were all at different times. So there was no like, you know, kind of like convenient way of getting them all done. So I just had to like I kept like coming back to the house, wait an hour and a half, go to another one. So I was just bored in between and knew that I couldn't really get invested in like a movie or, you know. So I was like, let's turn on the stream for 45 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever. Kill some time. Because, yeah, dude, this week for me has just been the week of adulting. It's just been doctor's appointments and business stuff and errands and adulting and that kind of stuff sucks, but it is nice at the end of it to see the accomplishment. I mean, basically, we got our couch and we got our desk and got the rug in the living room put out and got the kind of like the living room put together instead of just a mishmash of boxes we didn't know what to do with. And this is an important thing for me because and I've always been this way. I have a real, or at least in the past, I've had a real problem doing what people call like decorating. I will go into people's houses, right? When you go visit like family or friends, you go into their house and I always feel like ashamed of my own house because I'll go into people's houses and they have all this stuff they've accumulated, pictures, artwork and little designer things that they have, and their house has like a whole look to it that they've cultivated, and it seems like they don't have a problem making that, and I've never known what to do with that. I don't know how to do it, and I always feel bad when I have people over my house. Well, not always, because like right now my house is great. Like that the point is, I think it's like a little bit of personal growth that I've kind of given up on worrying so much about what goes with what, and I just kind of do what I want now, and I think my house starting to look very like less like a house and more like a home. That's the thing, is like it's not even that I particularly like sometimes I'll go over to somebody's house and I'm like overwhelmed by the amount of shit that they've got. It's just like knick-knack. There's not an inch on the wall that isn't pictures, and it's not I'm like I'm not trying to dog on people's decisions, but it's just like I don't necessarily want that. But you know, I've never had that, I don't know what you'd call it, like designer eye, where you can look at something and go like, okay, we need to get stuff that's this color. Dude, my living room right now is a goddamn, it's a mess, like color wise. Like I've got a red and black and blue rug. It's a beautiful rug, right? I've got a blue couch. I've got a green bag, bean bag. We call it the green bag. So like for extra seating. I've got a gray recliner. It's just like a color nightmare, but it's comfortable and it's me, right? So I think that is that's like a little bit of personal growth that I'm starting to become able to just decide what I like and not worry about whether it goes or whether it looks a certain way. Is your wife good at that? I don't think either one of us is super good at it. And I don't think either one of us places a huge personal import on it either. I think, like, left to our own devices, we're both very simple creatures and simple living people. You know what I mean? I don't think we are materialistic in that way. And so I think that part of it makes it kind of hard to buy things and put them up on your wall, or buy a lamp because it looks neat, or, oh, we could use a plant over here. Like, just like simple decorating shit is like complete, it's like foreign to me. Complete, like, I don't get it, right? I told my sister the inside of the house looks like it's on the pages of Southern Living magazine. She hates when I say that, but it makes her happy. Yeah, I mean, I feel that way with my mom and my sister. When I visit them, both of them, they keep such a like a tidy and functional home, right? Where it's like everything is where you would expect it to be, and there's extra seating, and everything is just meticulously clean and perfect. I need to make more money so I can hire a team of people to make my house look that way. You know what I mean? I don't function on that level. I keep my house clean, but clean and uncluttered are two different things, you know what I mean? But, it's just a weird thing for me. I've always had a problem with that. It's like I owned, and I seem to, at the very least, be with people, at least historically, when I talk about my romantic partners through the years. I feel like I've tended towards people who kind of like are built the same as me, like don't really care much about it. So it's like I had this really nice house that I bought when I was in my first marriage, right? Bought this really nice house around 2008, and I lived in that house for many years. And I don't think we hung one picture on the wall in all of the years I lived there. In all of the years that I lived there, I don't think there was one thing hung up on the wall that was like decorative. It was just like couch, TV, you know what I mean? Coffee table. It's not like we didn't have the stuff you need to put in a house, all the furniture and shit, dining room table, but not a single thing on the wall. And that's kind of how the house is now, to be honest with you. We're working on it. I'd like to got a collection of stuff that can go up on the walls, and I guess it doesn't matter so much where I put it. I get all kind of like worked up in trying to put things exactly the same or whatever, or perfectly, or in some, I don't know. It's just not in my nature to decorate things. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, Rooster, with clothes. The clothes that I have, like such a profound amount of the clothes that I keep are gifts. Because left to my own devices entirely, like presuming I didn't have a wife I didn't have a family who got me gifts. I didn't have friends that got me gifts. I'd probably be wearing like an entire outfit of clothes that are 20 years old. Like, I have some shirts and some shorts, just some knock around kind of like bumming around the house shorts type of thing that I've had for over 20 years. I don't care. Like, I don't have an eye for that, right? Fashion stuff. It just doesn't appeal to me. Or at least it doesn't seem to appeal to me on every level that it appeals to other people. I guess I like aesthetically certain things, but the aesthetics of personal dress and the aesthetics of home decoration, I just don't get it, you know? I don't get it. But I would like to have a house that's at the very least inviting to people that come over, and if not inviting, evocative of who we are in a little bit, like how we are. You know, because I feel like that's pretty true when I go to other. It's like, here's a person that you guys probably could guess. It decorates their home really well, or at least in a very unique way. TJ, right? And to be honest, Scotty and Taylor, although I know that is like 95% Taylor. Like, I've known Scotty, and single Scotty and I have a whole lot aesthetically in common when it comes to minimalism and not like having a ton of shit. But you know, Scotty's house, the last time I was over there anyway, it's been a few years now, but I presume it's the same. Just really well decorated and tastefully decorated and filled with really nice stuff. And it's very, you know, inviting, and it feels very homey to be there, right? And then TJ's, I would say, you know, he accomplishes that same kind of homey feel, but he goes a little more, you know, TJ's house is decorated in TJ fashion. He's got a lot of movie posters and, you know, just little kind of knickknacks and things that he's collected over the years. He's got a lot of books, and those are typically put out prominently somewhere as part of the display of a living room or something. You know, and he just got a very comfortable home to be in, no matter where his home is. You know, I've been to a bunch of TJ's domiciles over the years, right? I saw his kind of like dungeon setup that he had in Columbus, Ohio, where he lived, you know, kind of downstairs and had his own little, like, it was basically just an apartment in the house that was downstairs. And it had Manson stuff on the walls and was had very comfortable, functional stuff down there. And it was very comfy place to be. And, you know, so, I will tell you that, like, holding Scotty and TJ up as examples of dudes that have houses that are decorated nicely or like feel homey when you go in, and me wanting to maybe like attain a level of that at my own house does not mean that I want anywhere near the amount of shit that they have. Like, that is the downside to having a house that's that, you know, tastefully decorated and filled with all of these really nice homey things that you've put on the walls, is like, if you move as much as we do, I mean, your nightmare is compounded. You've got all this fragile stuff. You've got all of it, just a billion tons of. I just don't want that. To me, that's like a pair of shackles on me.
I mean, and honestly, we do have a lot of stuff to do that already. We just haven't put it up yet.
That's true. Yeah, I was saying that. You know, we got some pictures. I mean, a lot of it is stuff that is not. I don't know. I just don't want it to be like a bunch of my crap up on the wall and you have no say in how things look. Like, I want
it's
you.
not like I have no say. I mean, I think you got cool stuff in there.
It's cool, but like, I want you to be able to pick out some stuff that you want up on the walls and get some art stuff or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily want to hang everything that we've got. Like, you know, there's some cool stuff in there, and then there's some stuff that I might just put down in my office. You know. But we don't have a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? Thing of a theme. I think that's the problem. I think that's always been my problem is like, what's the theme? And it's like, it doesn't have to have a fucking theme. How about comfortable and functional and cool to be in? That's all I care. I want, you know, when we have a guest, I want the guest to be comfortable and feel at home in the home. You know, that's it. That's all that's the number one concern. I don't really care about it having a theme or being cohesive or traditionally well decorated or color coordinated, or like that shit just doesn't matter to me.
Like, I mean, you've seen like my mom's house. I wouldn't say that's the most thematically put together, but it's still homey.
Well, that's the thing is like, it's homey as fuck though. Yeah. It's like lived in, and it's just, they've got an aesthetic, and they work it out, and it's comfortable and functional and all of that stuff. It's inviting to be there. And I'm not saying our home isn't inviting. I'm just saying that, like, it's not traditionally inviting in the same ways. And I don't think I want to achieve that same thing. But I just want to, you know, we're working on it. We're getting to that point. My dad is maybe, because everything with my dad is maybe, coming to visit. And I am going to, because the old man has expressed interest a couple of times in streaming with me, and it's time to put the old man on the fucking spot. I don't know if I'll put him on camera.
It seems to work fine to be sitting here talking with you.
I guess that'll be up to him. Yeah. He's a grown up. Yeah. But yeah, we'll probably have to have it out. But that'll be
sub mode 24 hours or longer.
Oh yeah. There are no trolls allowed. We're not gonna. My dad's old. Okay, he's not from the internet. You will treat him delicately or not. Or,
I mean, you could set that as long as you want. You could set it to like a week or a year if you want to.
Oh yeah. We'll tweak our settings. But that would be kind of cool.
I think you'd still have a solid like 75 people if you set it to a year or longer.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would just probably stop by and just watch. It's always an interesting jousting match when my dad and I are sitting down to have a politics talk, because my dad is kind of like my impulses to dominate a conversation turned up to 11. Like, he is one of the only people in my life that can routinely stymie my attempts to put my 2 cents in. Like, he is.
And your mom's the other one.
Yeah, both of them. Both of them. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
That's why you are as talkative as you are.
100%.
Fight both of them.
Oh yeah, it was a battle every day to have
Apprentice to the masters.
Yes, to get a sentence out. So yeah, no.
I'd say maybe my dad rivals you a little bit. Like, not as much as your dad, but he's up there.
See, I don't know, because, like, I've never given your dad 100% of my... Because, you know, you want to be a little... I'm not an ogre. I have social graces. Yeah. But it's just like, if it were a setting where we're hashing it out, I think he and I don't know, though. We'd probably be around equal. It'd be the unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much how it's going to be with my dad. But knowing my dad and just knowing my interactions with him, it's going to be weighted a little bit on his side no matter fucking what, because he's just better at it than me. There's no denying that. Dirty D. Opinion on the Switch 2 prices? I don't give a shit, my friend. The chances of me getting or caring about a Switch 2 were already at 0, no matter what the price point. Cheers to that. Did you just fucking call me a silly goose? Don't call me a silly goose, bro. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Bro, we heard some crazy shit last night. We heard El Cucuy again. Me and Amelia were up late, as is our wont. Typically, we're up late. It's like 2:30 in the morning. We're out here having a smoke. And all of a sudden, like out of a fucking old scary movie, a wolf, bro. And we were like, time froze. Got any bears? Lions? No tigers and bears. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, mountain lions. We got black bears and likely the occasional brown bear, although they are very rare in the western United States these days. So yeah, black bears, coyotes, wolves, mountain lions, etc. Yeah, that sound, the anti, the what do they call it? Auditory weapons or whatever. Pretty scary. About doxing yourself, how's the weed getting situation you're at? I'm going to be dead ass honest with you. At this point, I would not move to a place where there were barriers between me and getting weed. You could probably criticize me as a dude that smokes too much pot, and I would acquiesce to that. However, I would say that my particular collection of mental challenges is worth kind of the downsides of smoking as much pot as I do. Hello, Bumblebee. Goodbye, Bumblebee. Are you coming back for another pass? I used to be terrified of you, Bumblebee. Okay. Nice to see you. Okay, he's gone. Nope, he's coming back. What is over here that's got you all in a tizzy, my friend? Is it the weed? Does he want to hit? Come get it, bud. Can you cuss us out in Spanish? Quito sus manos, tu viejo cochino. Probably a carpenter bee. Yeah, I don't think it was a bumblebee. He was pretty big. I'm not real afraid of any kind of insect or anything. I'm lucky in that way. The only ones that give me the heebie-jeebies, like really give me the heebie-jeebies, are grasshoppers and locusts and such. I don't like them motherfuckers. I don't like them. Something about them. I don't like them. Big old spiky legs. I don't like it. I like a mantis. Like, I'll straight up pick up a mantis, but sometimes they're real irascible and they don't appreciate it. But I love when you find a mantis that's pretty docile and they'll sit on your finger and you can really get a good look at them. Because mantises are really interesting. I'm not like gonna pick up a cockroach, but I don't fucking freak out at a cockroach. You know what I mean? A cockroach is a cockroach. It is what it is. But yeah, it's just grasshoppers that bug me. Cicadas, dude. I lived through like a 10-year cicada bloom, not 10-year long, but like it happens every 10 years when I lived in Arizona. And it was massive. There were just cicadas all, and it's gross, like having to step on them, like crunch, crunch, crunch. But and they kind of get into your house every once in a while too, and there's millions of them and all over everything. But they're not like I'm not afraid of them. I like dragonflies. I think a lot of people are afraid of mantises because if you get a real big irascible one and you try and hold it, they will bite your ass. And it's not like they're gonna break skin on you, but it is not pleasant. They are strong little animals, man. You know, and so if you find yourself a mantis that isn't irascible, they're really cool. But an irascible one, I can see that kind of putting people off. You know, I've handled so many mantises that I know that, you know, no matter how hard she goes at me, she's not going to be able to fucking break skin. So I'm not scared of that sort of thing. I've got a good demeanor with animals. I think that's probably a byproduct of being raised around so many animals. But I'm one of those people that's good with horses. Like they say that, like, you know, if you have any kind of like fear or apprehension when you're approaching a horse, that horse reads that and it kind of transfers to the horse. I've got an amazing demeanor with horses, even horses that are generally not super interactive or friendly with people. The same thing goes for pretty much any animal. A cat or a dog, I'm very empathetic about reading their boundaries. You know, certain cats don't want to be pet, as cute as they are. And there's certain kind of like physical responses they'll give you when they're not feeling it. Dogs, the same way. Certain dogs take a little time to warm up to a person. You can't just go right into messing with them like you want to. I think I've got a good sense of that. I think being an empath probably helps with that a little bit. I think it helps oftentimes to anthropomorphize animals' intent, to try and find something similar. He's feeling nervous, clearly. He's showing that he's very nervous about me. And so, you know, one of the things that I'll do with dogs that are that way, that are kind of apprehensive, is make yourself small, right? And so you don't want to loom over a dog like that if there's a dog that's showing a real kind of sensitivity or apprehensiveness to your presence. The best thing to do is to sit down on the ground and to be open to them approaching you, but not, you know, that sort of thing. Like that kind of thing is just innate to me. But yeah, I also just really like animals. You know what I mean? And I don't approach them with fear because it's not just horses that are that way. A lot of animals are that way, reactive in various ways to displays of fear or aggression, right? And so remaining calm is almost certainly one of the most important things that you can do if you ever run in with a wild animal or something like that. And not just remaining calm, but presenting that calm exterior, right? Deer, well, I mean, most animals are very sensitive in their own way. Yeah, chill out with the fucking emojis. Quit being a fucking weirdo. I think it might be just dunk this person. I don't know what's going on with them, but apparently they're either 12 or they're having some sort of a fucking mental breakdown. I gotta go. Too tarded to fucking participate, man. Too fucking tarded. It's endlessly strange to me how many people are incapable of just vibing with a stream like this that's about nothing. Where I'm literally sitting in the middle of a beautiful pine forest, smoking weed, and we're talking about whatever. And the amount of people that are physically, emotionally, intelligence-wise, by every metric, incapable of just like kicking their feet up or flipping the fucking goddamn, scroll up to the next thing, right? The amount of people that are incapable of that basic level of human interaction is stunning to me. And it's constantly stunning to me doing these, quite frankly, like kickback, chill streams about nothing. It's like the amount, like you would think that even if you were stupid as fuck, that you'd be able to kick your feet up for 5 seconds and vibe with another human being. But no, that's too presumptive. It's it's endlessly concerning and fascinating at the same time to me to watch kind of that start to unravel. I was leaning. Okay. Say what, bud? That's just such a fucking run-on sentence. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. It's like trying to communicate with an alien. I feel like Richard Dreyfuss at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And the aliens are like, and he's like, and they're like, what the fuck's going on, bro? Punctuation, all of that shit that they presumably taught you in school is really important to communicating an idea. And it would be super cool if you would use that stuff. Thinking before speaking. Yeah. I mean, that's just another one of these things that you don't have to do on the internet because you're, you know, John Smith 782 butthole 48. You know what I mean? You're not, you know, Kenneth Wilbury from fucking Jonestown, Connecticut, or whatever the fuck, right? Who lives with his mom and dad at 72 Peachtree Lane or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not, like, if that was who you were on the internet, dude, the internet would be polite overnight, bro. All of these salty ass weirdos and obsessives would crawl back in the hole from which they came because there would be a name and shame immediately, bro. It's like, why are you asking to sniff people's fucking feet all day, bro? Jason Wilder from fucking, Millsbury, Kentucky. Why are you doing that, bro? Jason Wilder that lives with his mom at 70 fucking 8 Willow Tree Lane. Why are you doing that, bro? And I'm starting to think that that's what we need. Like, I'm starting to think that, like, if the internet's going to be any kind of a tool at all for human communication and the exchange of ideas and shit, these social media companies clearly don't care whether engagement is botted, dribble, drool, racist nonsense. They don't care. It's all the same to them. They sell it to advertisers as the same thing. So a dude in here coming back on 25 alts to try and get off an N-word tower in the chat. To YouTube, they sell that to, these advertising companies as, look at the engagement. That's just reduced to a number, so they don't care what it is. So it's clear that, like, you can't look to the companies that created these platforms to enforce any kind of logic or rules with it. They just expect you to use it in this environment where every fucking autistic kid can be multiple man, right? And I'm starting to think that, like, slowly but surely, and I think AI is going to do this too, is going to like push this forward. It's going to get to the point where powerful people are tired of people making AI videos that look pretty fucking convincing of them eating shit out of a donkey's ass, or, you know, pooping on a plate and then eating it, or, you know, whatever. And that's going to be the impetus for it. So they can stop you from talking shit about them. But the side effect of it is going to be the average Joe can also fucking find out who you are. And the internet will probably be a better place because of it. So I think internet real ID on the way. You heard it here first. It's only a matter of time before there's some sort of landmark case where somebody on the internet sues somebody else who's been doing one of these fucking weird ass gay op harassment campaigns and is able to get some real fucking identifying information on this person. And this person is going to be called to account with these chat logs and all this weirdness and all of these alts. Like, it's just a matter of time before one of these finds its way into the legal system. And once the floodgates are open at that point, and it's going to be wild for some people. You know, because what happens on the internet stays on the internet. You know what I mean? And so there are people that have been living like they're fucking Zorro. They're the Zorro of doing antisocial shit on the internet. And they're living at the dawn of the time where people are going to start subpoenaing those names from these big companies. Ruh-roh. Can I say no? Because when I popped off, your mom gave me just a little bit of lockjaw. Sorry about that, bro. She can say though. But you know that already. Your bedroom's right across the hall. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, son. How are you? I feel like I'm 45. I can start calling people Sonny Boy. I'm old enough now. You have to suck it up and deal with it. I'm taking all my privileges. I'm taking them all. I'm taking all my rights. And all of my privileges. 100% of them. I go fishing when shit gets thick. You can do some thinking watching a cork float. Yeah, true. Everybody's got to have that, you know, or at least I think people need that. A little zen spot. You can fucking, like, focus on one thing and kind of shut everything else down. I feel that, Rooster. I feel that. What if you'll take pleasure in torturing fish? It's okay to eat fish, 'cause they don't have any feelings. Something in the way, yeah. you go. Knew the Nirvana was coming. I don't know about best song, but one of the greats. Opinion on the haphazard tariffs. I kind of been talking about it for the last, well, I'll do it again. I know it's the big thing. Here's how I feel about it. Trump bad, tariffs bad, but U.S. economy for last 20 years has been house of cards. And I believe, and in fact, on a certain level, I know that there is massive, massive amounts of white collar fraud and companies propping up their stock price, doing stock buybacks, and all of this kind of fuckery to make this endless growth economy look like it's endlessly growing. And I think that one of the perspectives to look at is that wiping out trillions of dollars of fraudulent fucking worth and value from the stock market might make it a more fair place and less of a fucking casino rigged for certain players. You know, maybe the economy needs to contract in that way a little bit. Maybe there's too much theoretical money floating out there being spent and borrowed against like it's real. The worst part about it all is that the brunt of it will be borne by the most vulnerable people in our society, right? So retirees are watching their retirement accounts disappear before their eyes. You know, people that are in the midst of working and paying into that shit and hoping it'll be there when they need it are watching that fucking disappear, right? It's those people that bear the brunt of this. But one way or the other, the fuckery's got to stop. Unless you can figure out a way that the United States is going to start locking up financial criminals for gaming the stock market, for doing the exact same kind of fuckery that led to the crash in 2008 and wiped fucking trillions of dollars off the global economy, right? If you can point me to some sort of near future where those people start getting locked up, and some rules and regulations start getting enforced to keep these companies from fraudulently inflating their stock price and people hand in glove profiting from that. If you can think of a way to do that via legal means, I'm all for it. But I think these crashes are a self-regulatory measure that happen in the U.S. economy. I think sometimes just too much goddamn fake-ass fiat money starts being used as leverage in ways that it can't justify because it's fiat. It's invented out of fucking thin air. It's theoretical number money on a piece of paper, right? And it gets fucking wild and out of control. And now somebody's theoretical money on theoretical stocks is floating their entire existence and their family's entire existence besides, sometimes to the tune of millions or billions of dollars. This is unsustainable bullshit. And one way or the other, the house of cards has to go poosh. And it's always going to be the most vulnerable people in our society that bear the brunt of this fuckery. So it is incumbent upon the people of the United States to learn a little bit of history, to learn the history of these economic collapses, because this ain't the first and it ain't going to be the last. To take a look at the economic conditions that preceded these economic collapses and to recognize those things when they start to express themselves in our day-to-day lives. When the Elon Musks start buying up everything, when the Bill Gates start owning 20% of an entire manufacturing base, when the Jeff Bezoses start having yachts that have yachts for their support yachts, it's incumbent upon the people in this country to regulate that. And if you look at history, one of the things that motivates people to regulate that is economic hardship. It is the house of cards that is the national and now global economy piling up so in such an unbalanced way towards such a small percentage of people. And that fucking balance getting further and further and further and further, that causes people to step up and self-regulate the government and the companies. So, you know what I mean? What even is the economy? A giant house of cards, a giant casino, where if you know, you know, and if you don't, you're fucked. If you're on the list, it's a money printing factory. If you're an average person, it's a risky ass gamble. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think a depression is looming. Yeah. Not just a recession, but I think we're going to see some fucky shit in the next 10, 15 years. And I think the tariff situation was just the last fucking card on top of a teetering, swaying fucking house of funky casino bullshit. Think housing prices will crash again? We'll see. Hold on to your butts. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Not that it'll ever happen. Do you think he's done anything impeachable yet? Probably, but here's the problem. You remember the Democrats with their stupid ass fucking impeachment bullshit that never went anywhere in this first thing? They kind of like, they got little boy who cried wolf. The chances of them getting enough Republicans to go along with an impeachment, it's just fucking retarded now. They spent too much of their fucking time fucking around and having it go nowhere. That's it. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how many different ways I can talk about it, but anyway, yeah, I guess we went all the way down the rabbit hole again with the tariff talk. Didn't spend much time talking about tariffs. Spent a lot of time talking about what I see as the inevitable coming economic collapse. Sorry about that. No, that's fine. I know. I mean, it's the big thing going on. That's what people want to talk about. That's my take on it. One way or another, this fucking like endless growth bonanza was coming to a screeching halt, because when the basis of an economy is fuckery, it's not long before the pillars break and the whole goddamn thing collapses into its own footprint. It's happened multiple times in American history and multiple more times in world history, and it'll happen again and again and again. It's part of the cycle, it seems, for living in a capitalist society, or just living in a large enough society, I guess, would be the fair way to put it. I think capitalism is an accelerator You know what I mean? We like to make a whole bunch of puffery about the United States and how great we are, but we haven't even come close to touching the Roman Empire's span of existence. You know what I mean? Like we're babies. We're barely 200 plus years into this little experiment. We're not some enduring 1,000-year empire. And it's starting to look like we're about to go fucking. There's an upheaval coming. Technology has been slowly but surely making obsolete a lot of the jobs that people are talking about. Like Trump is talking about bringing manufacturing jobs, right? That's part of his tariff idea. You know, we're going to stop letting these countries take advantage of us by selling us their goods. We're going to stop making America great again by making America make things again, blah, 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 right? The problem with that is that there's going to be a really fucking painful period of transition to get America from the current mass service economy back to an industrial economy. Number one, that's just setting that aside. And number two, technology is rapidly making obsolete the types of jobs that would be brought back with an industrial economy. It is very unlikely that you are going to see a return to these 40s and 50s car manufacturing plants where it's like, 100-person shift of workers assembling these cars by hand on a conveyor belt. There are machines that do all that shit now. And for every 100 people that place employed in the 50s, they would employ maybe one person now to maintain the machines, right? We're on the cusp of self-driving. I mean, that's going to be a huge one. Self-driving trucks. Trucking and overland shipping is one of the most dangerous fucking things about an already dangerous thing in America, which it doesn't get a whole lot of coverage either. You're way, way more likely to die splattered all over the fucking road than any other fucking horrible way. Any other horrible eventuality that you worry about in the world is eclipsed by about tenfold, usually, by just getting in your car and getting on the freeway. So, I believe we're on the cusp of automating away a lot of the things that make it dangerous to have human beings driving. But that is going to destroy a huge amount of. It's like it's delivery people, truckers, food delivery, mail delivery. These types of things, like, it makes less and less sense as technology just continues to like double every 5 or 6 years. It's insane. It makes less and less sense to employ a fallible human being in this role when you can make a one-time investment in a complex machine that doesn't have alcoholic breakdowns, that doesn't have a complicated home life, that isn't having to work 3 jobs. You know what I mean? It just starts to make absolutely no sense to employ a human being to do these things. Mm-hmm. Waymo. I've seen them. I've never lived in an area. Well, I think I live adjacent to an area where I could probably pick up a Waymo, but I don't live where I live now. It's not a thing, but and get picked up by an empty modified Porsche. What the fuck? That's crazy. Are building a very huge data center in Meridian, Mississippi. It will consume around 4,000 megawatts of power. They're building them all over the USA. So you think it's just like data collation centers? It's like centers to collate user data and to metadata and all that stuff. Well, that's where I think ultimately. No, I don't think it's going to happen before there's a major upheaval. But I do think ultimately where we're going to land in this battle between the value of labor and its role in sustaining families in this economy and the march of technology. Where I think we're going to land is a UBI of some stripe, right? Likely based on how many children you have. There's a lot of concern right now about the falling birth rate, especially amongst rich and elite people, because they need us to buy their shit. Otherwise, their shit isn't worth shit. That's how the economy works. And so I think it's going to come down to a monthly stipend based on your need. It'll probably be kind of like tax benefits. It'll be a benefit for married couples and a further benefit per child to a certain limit. And it'll be this, that, and the other, right? I think that's coming. I don't think it's coming tomorrow, which is when it's needed if we're going to make that transition as a society. But I think it's coming. Well, that's the thing. In order for the top 1% to remain the top 1%, the bottom 99% have to have money to spend. But unfortunately, the top 1% are starting to understand that it's way cheaper to invest in a machine that can do the job of 10 people than invest in 10 people with all of their 10 people problems. Robots and automatons and AI programs and stuff don't get divorces. They don't call in sick so they can go to a football game. I'm not trying to say that like laborers are bad for this. I'm talking about human beings are not necessarily as reliable as the kind of mass production economy of the world demands. They come with a lot of problems. It's expensive. You got to pay for their health insurance. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. If they have an accident, it's on you. And it's just like if it's a robot that falls over and nobody's hurt in it, you call somebody to come fucking fix the robot. There's no ongoing medical expense. There's no neck injury. There's no, you know what I mean? No health care plan. No fucking insurance plan. No, none of that. So you've already seen it. Go back and look at like a Ford manufacturing plant in the 50s. Just do a Google search. Here, I'll do it right now. Picture of a Ford manufacturing plant in the 50s. Picture of the workers inside a Ford manufacturing plant in the 50s. Yeah. So here's just a bunch of Getty images, I guess. Oh, God damn it. Don't go away. Anyway, you can look it up. There are people on a conveyor belt assembling products as they go down. And they're standing ass to ass as thick as you can pack them in the building. And then do a Google search for an automotive assembly plant today. And you'll find one or two guys running around and robots assembling the doors, screwing in all the components. Find maybe a human being that comes in and throws in the dashboard and screws a couple of things, right? There's one guy that does some work that it's not feasible to have a robot do yet. Right? But the conundrum is you automate away all the production and export all the production, and then you've got 250 million people in the country that can't afford to buy your stupid shit. So that's why I'm saying I think that we are headed towards a UBI. I think that's going to be where this economy lands after whatever's coming up in the next 20 years. I think it's going to be a roller coaster. And I think where it's going to land is a stipend. I think Trump already I'm not saying it's going to be Trump that does it, but stranger things have happened. Trump already kind of, floated that idea during the pandemic of just sending people checks every month. Or sending people big lump sums and blah, blah, blah. So I'm saying that's probably going to happen again. Because Trump doesn't care about creating jobs. He knows exactly what I'm talking about right here. That, like, if we were to reindustrialize as a country, the actual functional generational jobs that would be created by that technologically advanced reindustrialization would not leave enough room to employ the masses of people that need gainful living employment. They know that. Like, Trump's not stupid. Elon's not stupid. He knows the value of an automated device versus a human being with problems and a body that's got finite capabilities, right? I mean, I don't know, like, if you think I'm bullshitting, I don't know if you're not paying attention to all of the automated shit that's happening. If you live in a big city, likely you can get shit brought to you by a little robot. That's pretty widespread now. Drone deliveries are starting to happen. Completely automated fast food joints that maybe got one person there to make sure somebody doesn't graffiti the place up, and the rest of it is just like making your whole hamburger, handling your whole thing, right? The list goes on. What do you think? You can call, like MJ was saying, fucking order a car that shows up and nobody's driving it and it'll take you where you want to go. It's becoming pretty common. So at some point, something's got to break. Everything you say to me. What was that song? Everything you say to me. Take me one step closer to the edge. I'm about to break. Who did that? I haven't thought about that song in a minute. Was it? Oh, it's Linkin Park. Yeah. Everything, yeah. Okay, so I wasn't remembering it in his voice. I was just remembering the lyrics and the tone of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is. It's Chester. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I just haven't thought about that song in forever. Sir Chester, yeah. It was pretty cool getting to see him live. He was the most surprising act of the day because I was probably the least excited in general. Well, maybe to see him and Metallica. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna front like I was the biggest Linkin Park fan, but I did get to see Linkin Park at a festival, and oh man, they blew up the stage. They were just as energetic as some of these other fucking new metal bands and shit that had a harder edge to them. You know what I mean? I saw Mudvayne that day. I saw the Deftones that day. Um, uh, of course, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and Metallica. I didn't stay for fucking Metallica. And Limp Bizkit was a limp. Limp Bizkit lived up to its name that day. It was very limp. I know. I'm sorry. It was just a cool thing, you know. I didn't. I don't have a whole ass list of that, but it was a cool thing to go see. You know, it was neat to get to see those bands play live, and a lot of people would argue in their prime too. You know what I mean? Metallica's boomer shit. Agreed. That's why I left. I've never been into Metallica, bro. I'd rather listen to an old man in flip flops blow on a jug and play the juice harp than sit and listen to Metallica, bro. That's just the way I am. I ever attend a Vans Warp Tour. You know what the thing is, and this is like for me, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but when that started to become really popular, I moved out of my house right at 18. And I did not have expendable income, bro. That was something I had to build up to. The idea of having money that I could just blow on whatever. Like, hey guys, want to go to Warp Tour? It's like, yeah, but who's got $400 in gas money and food money and shit? I don't. So have fun, you know. So when that was a lot, like when that Warp Tour was really super popular in the late '90s and early 2000s and stuff, I just, I was either living at home with my parents, working a part-time job where that type of money was a dream because I was paying for my own gas and insurance and shit on my car. And I was lucky to work enough to do that and pass high school, and so like having that kind of expendable income was a dream. And then right at 18, I move out, or just kicked out, moved in with a friend, got a job, made just enough money to pay my bills and have some food. And I worked my way through that, got another job. And it took a long time for me to get to the point where I had anything like I would call expendable income. I hope they fix the housing market. It seems like you either can afford multiple homes or you'll never own one. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'm not like a guru when it comes to economics and stuff. I'm really not. My focus is much more on the labor side than the economic machinations side, right? An economy can be as explosively awesome as it wants to be on paper. But if people are having to work fucking 3, 4 jobs to make ends meet, something's fucked. If line go up, but cost of living also go up and quality of life go down, something's fucky here. That's what I know. Oh, dude, I don't know, as a conversational guy, I don't know are three of my favorite words in the language because, there's so much that, I'm nowhere near an expert on most things. I would say that I have a slight expertise in performance and performing arts, and that's about it. Maybe making coffee. like I don't claim expertise in any fucking thing. I'm a pretty general knowledge kind of guy. I think I'm eclectically read, if not super well read. I'm a midwit. Nice to meet you. I'm a midwit. Nice to meet you. Bidenomics, Jack. What is a gap in your knowledge? I mean, name one of these hard sciences, right? Biology. Um, pretty much name any of them, right? Anything medical, to a large extent, anything legal, right? I don't know a whole lot about. Now, maybe I have some insight that a lot of people don't have because I served on a jury for a long, long time. And that gives me a little bit. I wouldn't claim to be some legal expert as a result of going through that process. I just observed how it actually works. And it's, you know, let's just say that the movies you see that show courtroom battles and stuff take a whole lot of liberties. Let's just put it that way. I am math stupid, bro. And I will be honest with you guys. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I did not struggle in school at all, except for math. And that was true all through my life, dude. As soon as it got to like, first grade when they're having you do times tables and stuff, I was like, I just don't have a brain for that shit. So if I was to say like, what area of STEM am I the most retarded in? It's got to be the mathematics engineering one, right? Like that shit is just. I was bad at algebra. I was bad at geometry. I was bad at geometry or algebra 2, which was my graduation requirement. I just barely made it, bro. Barely kept the grades up to a point where I could get scholarships and stuff. But my grades were leveraged up quite a bit because it was super easy for me to pull good grades and everything else. I was good. I was gifted in language and stuff. Like I just floated through those classes. I have a facility for language. I was gifted in English because I just like reading. I got into theater as my kind of extracurricular, and I achieved well in that. That was actually what helped me get a college scholarship and all of that. So I really had no problems. History, even like our biology class, even though I'm not real well versed in that, I did well in it because it was pretty basic shit. It just required reading. I'm okay with that. Took 2 years of French and 2 years of Spanish. My high school required 3 years of language, but language fulfilled a social studies credit if you took 4. And so I took freshman and sophomore year, I took French 1 and 2. And then when I moved campuses sophomore year, I took Spanish 1 and 2, junior and senior year. Yeah, I can't get calculus. I could barely get algebra 1. Algebra 1 was a fucking struggle for me. And I give my teachers a lot of credit because they were able to bring me up to the level, but and they knew it, you know what I mean? I'm not gifted in that way. Numbers and I are not friends. I don't think of things in numbers. And that's that. Yeah, I'd split campuses. So it was basically like a high school campus, but the area grew too much and needed another school. And so they built a whole other campus that was relatively nearby. And for the first couple of years, I started school the year they rolled out the brand new campus. And so they would bus us in the middle of the day, right? You'd have 1 or 2 periods on North Campus, and then they would put you on a bus, and it was like a 5-minute bus ride to South Campus. and you'd finish your day there, or vice versa, right? Yeah, it wasn't split into freshmen. It was kind of cool. Ours was split into schools. So when we came in, we met with a counselor, and that counselor asked us about what we liked and didn't like in school. And they also had access to our grades from middle school and grade school, right? And we, and they would ask you like, what, here's the options, which one of these? And I chose the School of Humanities, which if you look into that, that's like, well, I mean, I know it as humanities, right? It's like English, literature, art, music, theater, poetry, studying that type of stuff, right? And so I ended up in the School of Humanities. Now, it's not like that's all I learned about, but I had access to more classes that were in that vein than somebody who was in the because so there were several programs. There was a math track, there was a humanities track, and there was an agribusiness track, and there was an industrial track. So people that were interested in learning how to weld and do all that, they had access to crazy classes for that. I never even would have thought to take in the first place, right? So it was kind of cool. Yeah, it was neat, and it really worked for me. Like I ended up spending after sophomore year was the last year I bussed between campuses because the School of Humanities was almost entirely based on South Campus, the new campus. And so my sophomore year, I think for the first half of it, I bussed. And then after that, I just moved entirely to South Campus because it made no sense. I was at North Campus for like one language class and PE, and then they were busing me. And so they were just like, we're just going to move your language over. And that was when I switched from French, because they didn't have French on South Campus. They had Spanish. Go fig. But anyway, that was that. But yeah, I know they asked, yeah. And they considered my aptitudes as a student and put me in a program that was like more towards that. And it was through that I met, a person that honestly, like, I consider to be my mentor in life, if ever I had one. My teacher for theater. I met her because I was in the School of Humanities, and my, extracurricular activity that I chose because I thought it would just be simple was Theater 1. And, I had, surprise, surprise, started smoking a lot of pot freshman year. And I was kind of breezing through my classes, and she wasn't going to let me breeze through. It sounds like Goodwill Hunting or whatever, but she saw a lot of potential in me and a bunch of other kids too. I wasn't like the sole focus. She was really good at identifying kids that had an aptitude for it and not letting them be stoners. Well, not letting them be just stoners. She never could stop us from being stoners, but she stopped us from being apathetic stoners. She gave me something that, like, I would look forward to. This is going to sound hella crazy. I wanted to go to school. Isn't that nuts? Not every goddamn day. I'm not telling you I was like sunshine and Cheerios every day. But I had something that I really liked to do, and it was worth going through the stuff that I didn't really care about to get to that every day. That's pretty cool. And I think that, like, if you look at what I do for a living, even though I didn't take the straightest, most traditional path to it, I use that training every day, right? That part of my life ended up being super important to what I'm doing, and I just turned 45 years old. That's pretty wild. Yeah, pretty wild, yeah. Yeah. You were lucky to have those memorable teachers, Holiday. You know, I had a really good math teacher in high school who was kind of that same way. Like, she put up with shit to a point. She was willing to go with the flow and laugh along with us and let us joke around and have fun in class to a point, right? But she was a good teacher. I had quite a few good teachers, man. That was another thing that I feel like maybe I just rolled lucky because, you know, I had a lot of memorable teachers. I had a couple of memorably bad teachers. They weren't all great, but I had some really great teachers that put me on track. You know what I mean? That like saw the aptitudes that I had and nurtured those aptitudes at various points in my childhood, right? As I went up through the grades, I ran into these different people that all kind of like were well trained and assessed me as a certain way and tried to help facilitate that. And that's really rare, I think. How do you rank the drunk that taught you English? I will tell you this, dude. Sir Gawain, which is what me and my friend Rodney called him because we had English together with him. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, oh. For all his obvious drinking on the job, I remember most of the books I read in his class because he had us read some genuinely cool, interesting books. We read Brave New World. We read well, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. We did a whole fucking study on that. We read fucking George Orwell. I'm forgetting the name of the goddamn novel. I'm brain farting it. Stoner moment. So like a lot of people consider it to be in the same vein as Brave New World, right? So Orwell's 1984. Yeah. So we read 1984, Brave New World, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and I think there was one other book that we read that wasn't as memorable, right? But that's like that's an eclectic group of books. Sorry, I forgot the night. Yeah, I was just brain farting. Remember the author, but not the book situation. This ought to help. This will clear my mind. It was of mice and men. That's what it was. I put that one out of my head, I think, because that's just a sad ass book, man. It's a real sad book. But it was of mice and men. I must have remembered that at some point, and you remembered it from all that. That's fucking kind of crazy. But yeah, you know, I had some good teachers and I had some bad teachers. I had some teachers that were just assholes, and you know, they're not as memorable, or they're memorable for the wrong reasons. You know. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a weird one for fucking high school, but cool. Yeah, I didn't. I've never even to this day I've never read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go inside. I'll see you later. Bye.